Hello, my name is Talon. My channel is called Old Guy Stuff, and today we're going to give my 2 cents worth, or my opinion, on the Gerber MP600 multi-tool pliers. Now, here's my disclaimer. There's basically three kinds of people in the world when it comes to multi-tools. Okay? They're the ones that like a company and their products. There's the ones that hate the company and their products, and there's those that are in the middle. Okay, so for Gerber, I'm actually in the middle. Now, that might sound kind of weird, but I'm going to tell you how I got this. I had an older multi-tool, suspension pliers, that only cost me about $12 to $15. I'd had it for 12 years. It had a malfunction, and Gerber said, send it in to us, and I did, and they replaced it with this, which is a much nicer, much better tool. It's more expensive, okay? But even that being said, it doesn't mean I'm 100% pro Gerber, okay? It just means they came through for me very well in this particular situation. So I'm not going to use that to taint my opinion of this whatsoever. I've already got my opinion of this tool. I've used it for 4 years. So let's talk about some stuff on it. First, the basics. I checked this online earlier. This is going for $80 now. Now, when they sent this to me, it was about $45 to $50. But price has gone up. It's about $80 now. And what you got to decide is, if you needed to buy one of these, is that going to be worth the $80 to you? Okay. So let's go over some basic dimensions and stuff. My length is 6 5/8 inches. That's if it's all the way open. Okay. I'm about 5 1/8 inch when it's closed. And they like to plug this as the one-handed opening tool, and I don't use it for that, but it does open with one hand very easily. So my length is 6 5/8 inches. Okay, I've got 2 knife blades on this, a plain and a serrated. Plain is 2 inches, serrated is 2 1/4 inches, and the overall weight on this is 8 1/8 ounces or 230 grams. Now let's talk about the pliers, and then we're going to get into the other tools, including the knife blades. Okay. Okay, these are some very good pliers. I like them. And one of the things I like is the fact that when I'm closing in and trying to hold something, okay, the handles are very smooth, easy on my hands, right? And they're real close together. You know, some of them, when you close it down, they're still sitting out like this. That's not necessarily the easiest thing on somebody's hands, okay? I don't have tiny hands, but they're not giant hands either, okay? So this is very good. Now, I read the other day that way back when, Gerber competed with Leatherman for a military contract, and we're thinking about like maybe 40 years ago, okay? And what sold the military on Gerber was the fact that the Leatherman, if you used it a lot and you had to put a lot of pressure on the handles for the plier part, that after a while it was getting uncomfortable, but the smooth round edges on the Gerber was very easy on the hands. So the military contract at the time went to Gerber. Okay, I've got a lot of Leathermans that have very smooth sides now, and I've got one that does not. And that one that does not, oh my gosh, it actually hurts my hand to use it. But all the others, they're great. So I've got no complaints with Leatherman on that. It's just, I noticed that, you know, if it's the smooth edges on this, nice and rounded, then it's easy on the hands. Okay, so that's the pliers on this. I don't really use the wire cutters. And that is because you cannot replace them. They're not replaceable, okay? So if I've got to cut wires and I don't have my actual wire cutters with me, I'm going to use my Leatherman Surge, because that's some replaceable carbide blades. I believe they're carbide. They're replaceable. So if I mess them up, I can replace them. If I mess these up, I can't replace them. And I'm not going to like looking at this while I'm using it and knowing I've got, you know, something messed up on it. That would just bother me. Yeah, I could send it into Gerber, but I don't want to go through that. Okay. this part opens up nice and wide, nice and wide, nice and wide. So let's talk about this. I've got this nut and bolt here. This is 7/16 inch, okay? If this was closer to the edge, then when I put this down on here, this will be able to close very, very well, nice and solid, okay, on this nut. But it's a little offset. Now, if this was closer to the edge, I wouldn't have that issue, okay? But it's a little offset. And I would never really want to use pliers like these on a nut anyway, because I stand a good chance of messing up the contours on the nut. And later on, if I got to use a socket, that socket might not work so good on it. So I don't really use the pliers like that. I use them for some little things, but not like that. So I'm going to tell you something I did discover with this. All right. Ranger band. Yay, okay. That's been kind of wide. This is what I've noticed. Put a Ranger band here, which works good, because if I compared this to other pliers, like say my Surge, right? When I close the Surge pliers, I've still got an angle going out about like this with the handles, okay? But these are very close together and almost parallel. So the Ranger band is not going to want to slip. Okay, so it holds on there pretty good. Now, why is this important? Well, for example, I might need to hold something like this so it's holding by itself. Why? Because maybe, I had to do this the other day, I had a plastic piece in one hand, and I had a torch in another, and I need to be melting a lot of these little holes in this piece of plastic. So I'm using the torch with one hand, I've got the plastic in the other hand. I can't hold this at the same time and squeeze it together to make sure the nail didn't come out. And I didn't have a vise with me at the particular moment. And I didn't have my vise grips. So this saved me in a pinch. I was able to get the project done. Okay. Now, here's something about the Ranger band. So, if the Ranger band is thinner, it's not going to hold as tight. If it's wider, it will hold tighter. So, if you're going to use something like that, just kind of keep that in mind. There is a crimper in here, even though I don't use the wire strippers, there's a crimper. So if I had to actually use the connectors on wires, I have not done this, but I should be able to put the connector with the wire in it inside here and then squeeze it down. And I've done this with, actual wire crimpers before, so I know exactly how that's going to work. And I'm confident this is going to work too. Okay, I just have not done it. Okay, so I can't actually give a full endorsement on that particular thing. All right, let's close up the pliers. And when you do that, you notice you can't get any of the tools out. Well, that's not cool. So you have to actually open the pliers, get the tools out. But, now this is a safety thing. So let's talk about this. Rated blade, they say it's 2.5 inches, that's actually 2.25 inches for the cutting part. The suspension pliers that I returned to Gerber, okay, that I'd used for about 12 years. Here's what happened. I do preventive maintenance on my tools, and I never really use the rated blades much, but this particular one, this works great on breaking down cardboard. This is awesome for cutting through cardboard. I mean, really, really well. Okay, but I didn't really use the one on the suspension pliers. Now, I'm doing some preventative maintenance, and I'm just kind of pushing on the back of the blade, and next thing you know, and I have to make this happen, but the locking mechanism disengaged and the blade came down. Hey, no big deal, right? I'm just going to hit this part. Not exactly. On the suspension pliers, blades like this are on the other, blades like this are on the other leg. Okay, the other part of the plier. So it's sitting here. So when it closes down, it can hit your fingers. Luckily, that didn't happen. But I was kind of concerned because I don't want to get cut up. So I took a picture of the thing while it was happening, and I sent it to Gerber, and they said, send it in to us and we'll take care of it. And so that's how I got this pliers. I lost my suspension pliers, but they sent me this one, and this one's actually much better. So, I'm very happy with that. All right. This is a really, really good knife blade. I don't use it for paracord and stuff like that because even if I go slow and easy, it still mangles up the cord. But this is great. Great for cardboard. Close that up. They call this the lanyard ring. I don't use it. I don't intend to. They also say you can put paracord through it and use it for pulling. I don't intend to use it like that either. Talk about the can opener. All right. I've already done lots on this, but I've still got some areas that I haven't done. So here's what happens. This little curvy part sits on the outside, on the right side of the can. And then this goes up against the edge on the top. And all you need to do is a little rocking motion, and you can get your can open. In fact, I just go ahead and cut through the rest of this. It works really good. I've got a nice electric can opener, but the power goes out, which happens sometimes. This will open up the can. Put that aside because I don't like having the sharp edges. But this works really good. Okay. I'm going to actually talk about this Phillips screwdriver last, or close to last. Plain blade, 2 inches for cutting area, and this is a very nice blade. It's a good size for a multi-tool in my opinion. My Surge has a blade that's like this long. I really don't need a blade that long on a multi-tool. Some people do. I don't, but some people do. Excellent blade though. I've used this blade quite a bit. The file, one of my most used tools. I need to clean it some. Coarse on one side, some fine part on the other side, and this has never failed me for doing a good job when I've had to file stuff. Okay, now the top and bottom is actually really good. If you're into bushcraft, this is really good for striking a ferro rod. The very top part or the bottom part, the spine is just right for getting great sparks. Close it down. Inside here, I've got 3 screwdrivers. I got a large, small, and medium. Let's talk about the. Let's just talk about the medium. Okay. This screwdriver. This is the bottle opener also, and this works great on the bottles. I just don't have a bottle that I need to open. But if I had to go into a recessed, if I had to go into a recessed hole, this is going to go in very well. Okay, up to a point. This is about 3/4 of an inch from here to here. So it's only going to go that far down, and the ledge on the inside of these holes is actually where this line is. So this would not reach. But if I had to use it on a screw up top, this would work, okay? If I'm using it on a screw up top, this will work. Okay, let's talk about the Phillips screwdriver. First of all, Phillips screwdriver is going to work great with this. And clockwise and tighten it up, counterclockwise loosen it. Everybody knows how a screwdriver works pretty much. Okay, but here's the thing. What if I needed to get deep down into this hole, right? I got the little openings here for the screws to go through because I want to screw one wood into the other, and it needs to be in like this to go that far down, and this ain't going to make it. Okay, this is not going to make it. Let me get it there. That ain't going to make it. It's not going to connect. But if I got me like a longer screwdriver bit, this will work. I know center drive can probably do this easy, but I don't have a center drive. So we're talking about this one. Okay, so what can I do? I had an old suspension multi-tool that was either Winchester or Remington, I don't remember which, and it came with this bit adapter kit. It had a square post Phillips screwdriver like this one. Now, when that tool finally died after about 15 years, I kept the bit adapter kit, and this fits on there perfectly. So now I can put that bit in there, and if I needed to, that can go all the way down in there and get all the turning I need. So absolutely a good way to go. Okay, absolutely good way to go. Now remember, I mentioned this earlier with the pliers, right? Okay, well, since this will take a 1/4" hex, okay, I can take the socket adapter, put it in there, set it down on this. By the way, this is too heavy for the magnet on here to hold. Okay, it will come off, but that's just because of the weight. But I can put it on like this, and now I can turn it and loosen it up, and now I can do it with my finger. Let me tighten it back down. I'm just using my deep socket on this with the bit adapter, and we're good to go. So the last thing to talk about on this then is going to be the rulers. There's 2 rulers on this. Now there's some things I don't like about the ruler, and there's some things I do like about it. Okay, we'll talk about some ruler. If I want to get a good measurement over here for putting some marks to maybe make a cut or drill hole or whatever, you know, I can do this, and I've got it covered, right? Let's say I don't have this with me. Hey, I got some ruler markings on this multi-tool. Problem is, this does not open up at enough angle to actually get good measurements, to make good measurement markings on here. So that's not very usable for me. They would have to make it to where this joint open up at 90° angle. It doesn't. So, and I'm not going to expect them to do that, but that's what I would need if I want to put some good consistent marks on the wood like this. So what do I use these rulers for? Because I like these rulers for what I use them for. I go to the hardware store, and in the bin with the bolts and the screws and stuff like that, sometimes they get mixed matched. Okay. Well, before I put them, if I'm not buying them in a box like 100 of them, right, where it's got the measurements on them, I'm just getting them out of a bin because maybe I only need like 5. Okay. Then sometimes they get mixed matched, and I hate to get home and find out I got 3 of them that are the right size and 2 of them that are too short, right? So this is what I do with it. I measure it at the store with my multi-tool. So I know what my length is, and then I put it in the bag. And I've got the SAE or Imperial on one side, and I've got metric on the other side. So depending on what, like this is 3 centimeters long, this screw. Okay. So I can measure those things in the store. I know that they're going to be right, so when I get home, I should not have a problem doing my project. That's the basics on this. So here's the thing. You just set this on that. I don't know. I'm trying to make it to where you can see. Yeah, forget it. Let's set it like this. All right. So this is the Gerber MP600. Okay. Price nowadays is $80. When they sent it to me, it was $45 in the store. Now it's $80. Okay. Was this worth $45 if I had to pay that? Yes. Is it worth $50 or $60 if I had to pay that? I would say yes. I don't know about 80 though. For some people, this is definitely worth $80, maybe even more. But for other people, they might be thinking, that's a little high. So you have to think about, with all you can do with this, is this right for you? Okay. Now, all that being said, I'd like to try out one of those center drives. Don't know if I want to pay for it, and I'm not expecting anybody to send it to me, and I don't accept gifts like that. So I'm not trying to plug, say, oh, please send me the stuff. No. If I get it, I'm going to buy it. Okay, I'm not going to expect somebody to send it. Now, this Gerber MP600, I'm not sure about the $80. I don't know if I'd feel comfortable, you know, if I had to buy another one, going $80. But if it was $50, $60, yeah, I could go that any day. But 80, I'm not sure. You have to think about it for yourself. Okay. My name is Talon. My channel is called Old Guy Stuff. I'm giving my 2 cents worth or my opinion on this multi-tool that you can still buy online and at some of the stores that I've been to. And hopefully I can help you make a decision whether this is right for you or not, and then it ends up being a good decision one way or the other. So have a safe, peaceful, happy, wonderful day, and goodbye.